is Caro Swanson. I work for Te Pāoti Whakaranui as their Principal Advisor for Mental Health and Service User Lead. The one I'm specifically here for today is around growing the consumer peer support and lived experience workforce in mental health and addiction, which is people who have experienced those things and accessing services and recovery and wellbeing work alongside other people. The stuff we're doing at the moment now is around having a workforce development strategy for this workforce, and we have had competencies for us for quite a while, but they really need refreshing. They're a few years old now, and what's fantastic about being in the lived experience community and workforce is that things are moving quite quickly and growing and changing, and we're being heard, which is an amazing thing to do. And so there's more opportunity for more of us to work in the areas that are important to us. One of the things that I put in the foreword of the strategy was, in the beginning days of experiencing quite severe mental health challenges, that I had a total belief in the medical model and that would fix me. But when I looked back, the times when I got the most healing, or actually it was more around hope, because you do absolutely believe you'll never get over this, was from the people I sat beside in waiting rooms. We had a psychiatrist who had a thing about light therapy, so there'd be 3 or 4 of us in front of a light box, which is very good for doing embroidery. You can see really clearly. And I realised how important it was to hear from people who were further on the journey or were just reflective of what I was going through. That's what gave me hope. And also that whole thing of stigma. One of the things that was said to me often was, "Oh, you don't look like one of those." And I was just like, well, what does one of those look like? And I just felt really angry. So there was a plus. It's nothing like a bit of righteous anger to get you into something and all, worked up. So that's why I started. Those things were important to me. And I wanted things to be different for people coming behind, that they would have better, kinder and more healing experiences. So often in health services, people are seen as a set of symptoms or a problem to be solved, when in fact we are people. And it's really important the context of people's lives is put into their well-being and their plans and treatments, because nothing will work unless it matters to the person. So we have to find what matters to people, and that's their context. So I think that's one of the ways we really add value. We see things differently from a health professional might, not better or worse, just different. Developing a peer workforce just makes so much sense, because being alongside someone who's been where you are is incredibly empowering and comforting. And in today's world, where time's a commodity that most people don't have, it would be nice to have a workforce that has that commodity.
Kia ora, my name's Rhonda Robertson. I am the Peer Project Lead Addiction and Principal Advisor for Lived Experience at Te Pāoti Whakaranui. The reason I feel that these roles and the initiatives that I'm involved with are really important also go back to my own experiences of having used services. I would ask questions and never thought it was any different than my right to ask questions. But what I become very aware of when I was using services was that other people didn't feel that, I observed, didn't feel that they were able to ask or challenge things. And I thought, so I thought about how was it for those people? And if I was sometimes having challenges, how were they finding it? So that was really important to me. And also early on in my journey of seeking services, access to the types of services I was using were very limited. The experience that I was receiving from the service didn't quite stack up with how I was feeling. And what was quite helpful, and it helped make sense for me, was my other peers that were going through a similar journey. And also we had a retired expert who never made comments about whether what the service was doing was right or wrong, but just referred to the literature and the evidence, which was generally international literature and evidence, and it reflected our experience. So not only was I hearing from my peers who also were challenged in dealing with issues, we were fortunate enough to have that validated. What we do know going into the future is that we also, if we look at population statistics, we know that there's the population's ageing. So as it ages, we need to think about what our workforce is going to look like. We need to think, that also working top of scope. Often we talk about top of scope in the various different roles. And as that happens, there's room for other ways of working. And those other ways of working are roles like lived experience, providing another lens, because as I said before, around sociological bent, we're all often very interested in a particular issue, area, and we have different lenses on that. I've always felt that from time to time you might have played one particular lens or perspective may take precedence, but in general, they're all valuable. No one's more important than anybody else, except for the person that we're providing services to, because clearly that's what it's about. So, and I tend to believe that we all are passionate about that. So we've all got an investment in that. And so why not harness the strength and passion of everyone to get the very best? To me, that makes sense, working together, and, most importantly, working with the person that's come in to use your service, because ultimately that's what it's about. And it's as simple as that.